How you doing, guys? Welcome to this fantastic broadcast. I'm really looking forward to this one because today we have two guests. Actually, we've got my good self, Mr. Grant Stain, Mr. Edward van der Klein, and of course the now I'm almost feel like I ought to call you world famous now, David Rahman, international speaker, the mind coach. And today we've been really lucky enough to have him here to give us a bit of a chat all about, and a bit of coaching all about, well, predominantly procrastination, something that as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as people, we all know about procrastination, don't we? We've all suffered with that one. And David's going to give us some insights into his thinking, some tips, some help about how we can tackle procrastination and how we can deal with it. And then we will open ourselves up to questions. We're broadcasting on 3 platforms today. We're on Blam Academy, Blam Partners Inner Circle should be joining us as well as Blam TV. So welcome, whatever platform you're looking at. And for those of you watching on the rerun, hi to you all. So and I've got Edward with me as well. So he's our international sales director. Now you're a good example of this, Ed, because you're one of those guys actually that I would say has done a good job of defeating a lot of the procrastination. You've found ways to become effective and efficient. So I'm hoping you'll be able to add quite a bit to this conversation.
Happy days, yeah. Really good to see you, David. Guys, just for your reminders, put this in your diary. Today's the first one. This will be every other Friday. So starting today, Friday the 5th of February, 2021. And so we're looking forward to seeing you in the chat. Any questions, please drop them in. I'll be curating with multiple devices.
We're just getting used to this today, guys. We've got a new system that we're using. Doesn't it look cool? Look at the branding.
Look at that. We're live on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we're live. Yeah.
I'm just trying to get David back. He seems to have frozen up. I think we might have lost him. Is he coming back in? Hey, the beauty of the here he is. Fantastic. David, welcome, buddy. I'm trying to get it so I can highlight you, but that's why I'm whizzing around the screen, messing with the. Have we lost him again? Are you there, David?
I think he is frozen, but it's really cool. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. It's all good in the hood.
Yeah. So we're having a little play with it. I'm just trying to see how I can highlight an individual. It keeps highlighting me as the main sort of presenter. What I want to do is get David live, but as soon as he's frozen up, although we have captured a fantastic picture of him on the frozen bit. Look at that.
That's a beautiful smile.
It's a beautiful smile, isn't it? So let's kick off. I'm sure David will be back in very shortly. He's obviously got some sort of Wi-Fi issue at the moment. Yeah, there we go. He's gone. Let's just talk on the subject. Let's kick things off, because as business owners, procrastination. I remember I received an email once from a little group that I'm in, and the email was entitled Procrastination, the bitch. And it was meant in the derogatory term, and it really stuck in my mind. I actually printed off that email from a guy called Nigel Bottrell who runs yeah, and he wrote that email as part of his inner circle, and it was a fantastic email, and it talked about something that the procrastination is something that we all face in business. Do you ever have one of those days where you get to the end of the day and you're wondering what you've actually done? You're wondering why you haven't achieved some of the things that you know are really important. And quite often I find in my business that when you've got things that you know are important that you want to achieve, but they haven't got a deadline attached to them, procrastination can be so tough on us. David, you're back.
Oh man, technical issues.
Do you know what we say though? This is one of the Blam core values. Embrace the beauty of technology.
Absolutely.
It can be so frustrating, but you know, it's also it's allowed us to, you know, where are you, Swansea?
I'm in Swansea today, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ed, Worcester.
Worcester,
Yeah.
UK.
I'm in Solihull. The beauty of technology, we can have this conversation, and when it plays up on us, we just have to remember far more pros than cons.
Absolutely. And just to add to that, let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. So I'm going to see if I can highlight you, David. If you can, yeah, do you want to kick us off? And what I'm going to do, I'll try and fiddle with this so I can get you as the main presenter. But if you bear with me, guys, embrace the beauty of technology. I'm still getting used to this system, so I need to figure out how to get you as the highlighted guy. But take it away, David. Let's
Okay.
Let's get you kicked off, my friend. Looking forward to this.
Happy Friday, everyone. And it's the 5th February. And yeah, okay, we're in lockdown in many parts of the world, and we can, there's so much going on. And as business owners, people out there who are entrepreneurs and starting their own business or established businesses, procrastination is something that a lot of people do have a problem with, a hang up with. And it can cause us to feel frustrated and angry with ourselves and annoyed because we want to get ahead with what we're doing in projects and communication with our clients and leads, and sometimes we're stopping ourselves. And I always think the 5 words that drive procrastination. So I want you to catch yourself saying these words if you ever say them, or have you ever heard of people saying the words, "I will do it later"? 5 words. So catch yourself saying that, and it's an indicator that you could be putting something off for a future. And it's the reason often that we do that is to avoid a feeling, an emotion, because we're emotional human beings. So think of it, when you're in a not so good mood, when you're not feeling good, or when you're feeling tired, you'll try and put something off. So it might be that call that you want to make to a supplier, or a call that you want to make for a difficult conversation, but you're trying to avoid a feeling. So that could be a fear. That could be a fear of failure, a fear of rejection. So I've got a quick slide deck I've put together that I could share with you. Let's have a look. Share. Okay. There. Technology, please work for me. And okay, so this is really to help you reset your mindset. So I put this together earlier on, and so yeah, so we have this mental rucksack, and we carry it around with us, and it contains fears: fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear of not being liked, fear of being told bad news, fear of not getting the contract, fear of upsetting a potential customer. But sometimes we then to ourselves we do ourselves a disservice by not doing enough at the right times because we put things off. And if you think of this rucksack, it contains all the interpretations of your experiences in life. And I like to call this the blueprint. So look at that left bit here, the blueprint. And this is really your mindset. So it causes you to think empowering thoughts like, I'm good enough, I am smart enough, I am resourceful enough. Or thoughts like, how am I going to survive in this meeting? Are they going to like me in this Zoom? Am I going to sound okay? And we have these feelings of fear, which we really want to avoid. And sometimes then the action is, we call it procrastination. So we can feel overwhelmed. So there are times when you feel overwhelmed. Now, overwhelm can then cause us to feel, let me have a look, stop sharing. Stop sharing, let's have a look, let's go back into, okay, so feeling overwhelmed, then we can't think straight because we got all these different thoughts and emotions going up in our head. So we've all heard of something called the to-do list. So it's something that every day we have this to-do list. Where's my to-do list for today. So I've got this to-do list. So got a to-do list, and I'm ticking off this to-do list for today. And sometimes we can have this little checklist of things that we need to do today, and we have this in the back of our mind that we must do the entire list. So here's a tip that you can use every single day. So you might have 20 to 30 things to do on your to-do list, and it might be things that don't need to be done today. So immediately identify what needs to be done today. So that could be no more than 3 or 4 things which need to be done today. So you need to make this call to that person. You need to get more paper for the printer. What is it that you actually need to do today? So it's called a must-do list. And when I started using that, it was a game changer. So I'd have this list of things that I thought I had to do today, but it was actually things I could do over the next 7 days, 5 to 7 days. But pick off 3 to 4 things that you can do today, a must-do list, because that will then free yourself up. Otherwise, people suffer from paralysis of analysis, where they're just looking at this list, and you end up doing far less than you want to do because you're overanalyzing what you think you should do. The next thing I wanted to talk about in terms of procrastination is some people out there are trying to avoid an emotion. So it could be a fear of failure. So we want to avoid that feeling of failure. Often, I was asking a client this morning, actually, where do you feel failure? Because she suffered from fear of failure, fear of loss, and fear of rejection. And I asked her to close her eyes and scan her body to say, when failure comes up, where do you feel it? And she said, in my tummy, and I feel here. And I said, what about loss? And it was in the tummy. And what about rejection? She said, I feel it here and in my tummy, because that's where we feel anxiety. So imagine that in order to avoid feeling anxious, we'll procrastinate because we don't want to do it. So what I'm going to propose to you is now have an attitude readjustment, I call it. So what you can do is pop on a post-it note the letters WIT. So WIT. And WIT stands for, so you pop it on a post-it note. So WIT, there's the post-it note. So pop it on there, and it stands for whatever it takes. When you have an attitude of whatever it takes, because we're going to feel fear, we're going to feel we want to avoid failure, avoid not being liked. That's one road, and that will lead to procrastination. Sometimes we have to actually pass through our fears. We're going to feel it, and there's never a time in your life when you're not going to feel some sort of fear because of something. However, in your life, when you've actually taken action, it's all about taking action. And I had that, I will do whatever it takes ecologically. Something ecologically sound, so that you're not hurting someone, you're not doing somebody a disservice, but you're going to do whatever it takes to grow your business, to serve the community. And if you have that on a post-it note, to remind you every day, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And some days you're not going to feel like taking action, but this can be a reminder for you to take action every single day. The third thing I want to share with you is something called, it's a power statement. A lot of people wait till the right moment. They wait till the weather's right. They wait till everything's perfect on a project. They wait till the circumstances are perfect. And that then drives their procrastination. It's almost like a type of perfection. So instead of waiting, it's taking action. And waiting till the right moment, till the right people come into your life. Waiting is a form of control. You're waiting to try and control the circumstances. So if you can remember this power statement, pop it in a post-it note, and it goes like this. You can't control what you can't change, and you can't change what you can't control. So you pop down a post-it note. So what does that mean to you? What it means to me is, let's have a look. Where are we? What it means to me is when we take away that need to control, we feel so much better. We're like allowing our business to thrive. We're allowing things to happen. When we're looking to control other people, control businesses, control the weather, we can get anxious. We can work ourselves up into a state. And when we do that, it can lead to procrastination. So you can't control what you can't change, and you can't change what you can't control. Let me just go back to sharing the screen with you. Okay, there. Overwhelmed, right? So we feel overwhelmed and you feel fear. And the last thing I want to discuss is imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. So does anybody actually, while we're on here, I'll exit this full screen and I'll stop sharing. Does anybody on this call, do you know what imposter syndrome is? Does anybody want to put it in the comments? What they think?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so imposter syndrome is, like it says,
like you're faking it.
Sorry?
Is it like you're faking it? You feel like you're faking it?
Yeah, we feel like an imposter, like a faker. So there are times when people are telling you you're good enough, you're smart enough, you really are successful, but you don't feel successful. You don't believe you're successful. You don't think you're the type of person to be successful. So it's a type of thinking where you've lost all confidence in who you are as a person, in that business, in an aspect of your life. So you might be, as somebody said, the feeling of faking it. And if you have this feeling that you're faking it, the chances are you are going to procrastinate at times when you really shouldn't be, because it's not serving you or your business. So when I've worked with people who procrastinate, let me just give you an example. I was speaking to someone recently and they are not putting their name forward for contracts in business. They're not putting their name forward for opportunities. Why? It's because they're having to stick their neck out. They're having to expose themselves to perhaps fear of failure, fear of rejection, but also this fear of feeling like an imposter. So when you feel like you're an imposter and you feel like you're faking it, you're highly unlikely or less likely to actually put yourself out there. So you might be thinking, I want to do more Instagram lives. I want to do Facebook lives. And then a voice comes up in your head saying, I'm not sure. And you're not sure what that voice is, but often it's that voice of feeling like not good enough, like as somebody said, an imposter, feeling like a fake. So when you start feeling like that, what I would suggest is to pick up a journal. This is the last thing I want to share with you. Pick up a journal, take the best pen you can find, and start writing down the answer to this question. What am I trying to avoid? Because the first step in change is awareness. What am I trying to avoid? Because if you are good enough and people are telling you good enough, why are you feeling like an imposter? So you need to write down, get it out of your head. Why? What am I trying to avoid? What feelings I'm trying to avoid? This is where you have to work on yourself, because I believe people buy people. So you can have two different businesses selling the same thing, but you're going to want to interact with a business where you like the people who run the business. You go to a restaurant, two Italian restaurants next door to each other. Where are you going to want to go to? If they have equal food, but the staff are different, you're always going to want to work with the staff who have the best service, make you feel good about yourself. So imposter syndrome will show up when you don't feel good about yourself, and it will stop you taking behavior. So the first step is write down. It's not a quick fix. Write down, what am I trying to avoid? when I'm feeling an imposter? Is it not feeling good enough? Fear of failure? What is it I'm trying to avoid? Because this is the work that you've got to do on yourself to start letting go. Any comments on those guys? Grant, any comments?
Sorry, actually, to unmute. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it, that imposter syndrome is something that seems to be coming up an awful lot lately. I tend to find, when we train our Blam partners to become, marketing experts, a challenge that we often face once they've done their training and they're certified is that they feel that they still need to learn more before they start speaking to people because they feel like they don't know enough. And it's a combination of imposter syndrome and procrastination. It's wanting to know more. And I think those two things are so, they're just so important to understand when you're in business. Because you can't, we can't always rationalize the way the way our brains think, the things that stop us from doing it. But that to-do list thing, for example, the stuff that we put on our to-do list, we're going to have things that are urgent and important, and we're going to have things that are important but not urgent. And quite often those important, not urgent things are the ones that we're procrastinating on. And one of the reasons we can procrastinate is because of imposter syndrome. Don't know if that makes sense to you. And you gave a perfect example, I think, of, let's say somebody would want to do a podcast or give a talk like you do. At what point do we allow ourselves to say, do you know what? I've got something that's worth hearing here. And that we don't always question, is somebody going to be listening? And I can relate to this myself. Somebody going to be listening who knows more than me and, would think that I'm an imposter.
Yes. It all comes back down to self-love. How much you actually respect yourself, how much you actually are committed to the message. And years ago, when I first started speaking, I would get far more nervous. I would really work myself up in a state. And the first time I actually did a talk, I actually had a panic attack the night before. But I'd worked myself up into a state because it was the fear of being watched, the fear of making mistakes, the fear of not being liked, fluffing my lines. So what I would say to anyone out there who's got a message, or who, you're developing a business and you want to help people, and it is all about service. Think about your message. Think about what you would like to be known for, or how you would like to serve. And I got over myself by just deciding that, what's my message? What is my message? And my message is to people, you are good enough. And it's because of years and years I didn't feel good enough myself, and I did have imposter syndrome. So I'm really keen for people to think about, what is your message? Because when your message is greater than your fears and worries and doubts, you will take action. At that point, you will literally kill procrastination in its tracks.
So I'm not sure who's posted this, but they've said, I feel if they know more than me, they are not my customer.
This is from Rick O'Brien.
Right. So I'm wondering.
Hey, Rick.
It's good to see you, Rick. Yeah, I'm wondering whether is that what do you think to that, David? Do you think that's fair to say, or can you still help people that you think know more than you?
Okay, first of all, you are making a supposition there. If you're saying I feel, so that's an emotion, that they know more than me. That's an assumption. That, that's saying that a person can never learn, and I'm opposed to that, because we're all learners until the day we die. So if we go for an attitude of, right, I'm the eternal learner, I'm learning, I'm going to fail, but I'm going to fail forward, I'm going to learn. And I'm going to meet people who are smarter than me, brighter than me. That's fine. That's not a problem. The problem is when you think that you have to know more than the other person. That at that point, it's time to leave the room, because you want to be not the smartest person in the room. You want to be learning from other people. So if you think a customer knows more, it doesn't matter. What matters is you've taken action. You take an action. You surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Your customers will come towards you, because what they want to see is a person who is looking to serve, living in integrity, and is willing to learn from the mistakes. So if you look at that sentence, it's all about feelings and assumptions and then presumption. So I hope that helps anyway, in terms of yourself.
I think that's a really good way of putting it, isn't it? Because, you know, we don't always have to be the smartest person in the room. It's if we've got that, you know, you used the word there, integrity. You know, if you're coming from the right place, and you're working with people that know that and accept that, it doesn't matter whether they know more than you, does it? It's always going to be people that know more than you do about something.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, absolutely.
And, I mean, Rick's in digital marketing like we are, so he's all, and I know for a fact that Rick knows an awful lot about digital marketing. He's made it his absolute mission, and it's probably quite rare for him to come across a customer that knows more than him, I would guess. But even if he did, great. What can we learn? What can we learn? There's no shame in it.
No, absolutely. And again, it's that word, shame. Why would you feel shame if somebody knows more than you? It's ridiculous. I always tell people, don't watch the news. And then you get the odd person saying, oh, but if I don't watch the news, I won't know what's going on in the world. And I'm saying, yes, you will, because someone's going to tell you anyway. You know, so why do you want to sit there and get this information coming into your ears and eyes before you go to bed? So you're going to bed thinking the world's a bad place. Someone's going to tell you. And this person says, well, I don't want to be the person who doesn't know what's going on in the world. But I said, you won't be. And it's nothing to do with shame. But then I'll often find out that their shame is unrelated to the news. It's that emotion is related to the past, you know? So they've got stuff that they can dispose of, release themselves from. So, yeah, think about it as you're the eternal learner, and it doesn't matter if somebody knows more than you. In fact, it's good, because it means you're going to learn.
I guess one of the things is that people feel guilty at the end of the day if they haven't done those things. So procrastination is one of those difficult things to deal with, because they know they need to do it. They already know what's most important to do, but for some reason they're putting it off. And then at the end of the day, they feel guilty about it. And then it kind of, you know, the next day it happens all over and over again. So it's great for these tips, that you've given us with the Post-it notes. And if you want to have some more really practical, helpful exercises to help you with procrastination and a range of other sort of mindsets, I guess we can call them mindset hacks. Have a look at the book. Let It Go. Some of the feedback that we've seen from it is that it's really practical. Stuff that you can apply. And David's really good at sort of giving you those practical, sort of daily reminders to new habits, I guess, to help you, beat some of these things and achieve what you're entitled to and deserve.
I like the Post-it note ones. I've got them all stuck to my monitor here. So the one that you've just said, you can't change what you can't control, I've got here, and you can't control what you can't change. It's a nice way of looking at things.
Thank you.
The other one that I like, and I've put this on my screen. It's not necessarily something that I suffer with, but I think about it, and I don't know whether I've done this, whether I'm using this the right way, David. Let me ask you this: life is not an emergency. Is one of the ones that you put. I don't think I need that. I'm not one of those people that panics overly, but I know people that do. And I've kept it there to remind myself to have empathy with people that are like that, because sometimes I'm not very sensitive. And that's what that does to me. It reminds me I've got to have empathy for people that are treating life like it's an emergency.
Perhaps we could apply that to, say, procrastination here, in terms of sometimes we look at other people and we think they're doing better than us, and we start comparing to them. And then we think, oh my God, I'm going too slow. I need to do this. I need to do. And then we start in our head building up too many things that we need to do that week because we are led to believe we're going too slow. And at that point, we get overwhelmed. And at that point, we are at the mercy of procrastination then, because we don't know where to start or what to do. So, for anybody out there, we're on our own journey. And life isn't an emergency. It's not, because I always think that on your deathbed, you're not going to worry about other people. So why are you doing it now?
That's it. If you worry, you die. I'm on affiliate commission. No, I'm not. Just a big fan.
Yeah, you've heard it all.
If he was, he'd have plugged it at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end.
And the affiliate link as well.
I've got a great saying, and I think this is a Dutch saying. But if you worry, you die. If you don't worry, you die. So why worry?
Yeah, that's a really good one. That's brilliant.
This Design Life. Good to see you, Mr. Chris Green. Awesome. From Facebook. Really cool. No, from YouTube.
YouTube.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it?
What's the book called? He's asking. He's asking, what's the book called? Let It Go. Let It Go.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant.
Download it. Yeah, buy the book. I'll get 50p.
That's more than me.
Thank you, Martin. Really good call. Yeah, great to see you on the session, Martin.
Fantastic,
guys. But looking forward to the next session in 2 weeks' time. These sessions go quickly.
They do, don't they? They really do. Well, this is just it's a bi-weekly session, guys. David's kindly going to be joining us. We'll pick a different subject. The goal is here, guys, is to help entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, people in our universe. Entrepreneurs are they've got a slightly different mindset, and we all have commonalities of the problems that we face. I think you'll all agree David's just got a great way of helping us deal with these issues. We certainly find him hugely inspirational, and really appreciate his time. So thanks, David. That's been awesome. So 2 weeks' time, 1:30 UK time on a Friday, across 3 different platforms. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks, Ed. Thanks, David.
Thank you. Thanks, David.
See you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, guys, for watching. See you on the next one.
Take care.